Alrighty, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and today I wanted to talk about delayed video games. Because recently, Star Fox Zero was supposed to come out in November, and it's actually delayed now until the first quarter of 2016. Another recent game that got delayed was Rainbow Six Siege, which was supposed to come out like in a few weeks from now, in October, but it got pushed back to December. And I was really looking forward to Rainbow Six, but unfortunately it did get pushed back. Then again, it's not too far away, so it's not that bad. But I want to talk about this because there are positives and negatives to video games being delayed. Now, when I was younger, I got really upset, and it would be a negative definitely when a game was delayed. As I'm getting older, especially at this stage in my life, I'm actually kind of happy that a game is delayed, and I'll explain why. So I will go through both sides and the positives and negatives, but the reason why sometimes, for example, with Star Fox, I got really excited that it was delayed was because it is the fall season of video games, and there are so many games coming out. Too much, in fact, because there's no way that I could, one, afford all of them, or B, even if I could afford everything that I wanted to play, I wouldn't be able to play everything in a timely manner. Because there's so many games coming out. In November already, there was Star Fox that I was looking forward to, Star Wars Battlefront, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Fallout 4. And those are just four that, like, for sure I was really considering. And there was other games as well that I'm looking forward to in November, but I just know there's no way that I'll be able to play them at that point. So I wasn't even considering them. So hearing Star Fox isn't there anymore, and that's going to be a quarter 1 release for 2016, most chances are I was really excited. So I'm like, oh, okay, don't have to worry about that. I can focus on, at least getting Star Wars and then, either getting Rise of the Tomb Raider or Fallout or maybe both of them. But I'm really unsure at the moment regarding that. But that's besides the point. So that had me really excited. Another thing, too, is that not only does this make the fall season a little bit easier to go through and pick and choose which games you want, but it also ends up making most of the time, if a game is delayed in the fall season, they usually come out the next year in the first 6 months, so the first 2 quarters of the year, and that's usually when it's a slow period for video games. So it ends up, breaking it up, making it easier for you to go through your games in the fall season. And then as the year goes by, during this normal slow season, there's other games that you can look forward to that were delayed during that time and ended up being a 2016 release instead. So that's, for example, Batman Arkham Knight. That was a game that was supposed to, it looked like it was going to come out in 2014, but they pushed it back to 2015, and we ended up getting it in June. There was other games coming out at the time, but it was really awesome that happened. I think Uncharted 4 looks like it'll be released in the first 2 quarters of 2016 as well. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to in the first 6 months. So that, to me, is usually a beneficial thing when a game is delayed. But there are obviously negatives to this. One of them is if you're really looking forward to a game and they delay it and they keep delaying it, delaying it, delaying it. For example, The Last Guardian. There was a lot of hype when that first, looked like it was coming out, and there's still hype now because looks like it's officially going to come out. Hopefully, still fingers crossed. But I think that sometimes when a game is delayed so often, you kind of lose a bit of the hype because you're like really looking forward to it. Now, other games have shown up, that could be a similar genre or just other games that you hadn't thought of before. Now there's your mind's elsewhere and you're preoccupied, and the more time goes on, less of the hype, you start losing it. So that's obviously a negative thing. Another thing too is that if, let's say, you only have one console and there's this one game that you're really, really looking forward to and it gets delayed, well, you might not have any other games that are coming out at that specific time. Like right now, I'm lucky I do have an Xbox One, a PS4, and a Wii U, so it doesn't really matter when games come out because and already I have enough of a backlog. I'm always going to have the games to play. But if you only have one console, you're looking for those games to come out. Like if you only have a Wii U, you're pretty much relying just on Nintendo to release exclusive games, and they can't release a new game every month. So you're constantly, having no games to play, or you're replaying games or playing games that are very long, hopefully. So I completely understand that as well. If you only have one console and you're really looking forward to a game, a delayed game is bad news. But for me, like I said, it's usually a positive. So I'd like to know what you all think about delayed games. Do you get excited sometimes because there's so many games coming out, or are you so hyped for a game that it really bothers you that a game is delayed, even if there's other games that you can play in the meantime? Or are you in one of those group that has one console and God damn it, it's really upsetting when they don't release a game because that what you were really looking forward to it, and it was the only game that you could play at that time. So you've been Bearded In. Thank you all for watching.
Beardage.